corporate greed is stifling human growth, exacerbating the homeless crisis, and both the Democrat and the Republican parties are complicit. Allow us to dive in.
And like I said, it's not just people that you would expect to be homeless.
Yeah, that's why I
So
was
it
gonna ask you to expound on that just a little bit more about that situation with people who actually got jobs, who actually don't have
mhm,
mental health issues, but
yep,
actually are being priced out of the ability to afford apartments.
exactly.
Yeah,
And I think some people, their attitude is, well, do better, make more money. And sometimes it's not that easy. Because, like, for what I do, when I was in corporate, I made a little bit more than I make now. But again, like, it's different when you're self-employed, because when I'm self-employed, like, my income looks different every month.
yeah, same
I would
here.
not, yeah, I ain't going back to corporate for that stability. I'm sorry. I
Mhm.
like this. I just deal with the struggle, it's fine.
Yeah,
I
same
will.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it's a problem that people are starting to notice, because the fact that article that I sent you, that article, they did a study on it, and they're recognizing. And I think the main thing that article talked about, because I noticed this myself, it's the corporate housing. These corporations are buying up,
yeah,
at some point, right after the pandemic, between like 2020 and I think 2023, they were buying up 60% of the available properties for sale. And 9 times out of 10, they can make an offer that the average person who wants to buy a house can't match. So that's why you have this overabundance of corporate housing. And they kind of created the standard 3.5 times the rent, 3 times the rent. I'm hearing now they're going towards 4 times the rent. Somebody told me the other day that they're starting to see that now. So
yeah.
average rent in Charlotte is about 2 grand a month. That's what I pay. So you're expected to make $6,000 a month at least, and that's net, not gross. That's net. At least I think so. No, I shouldn't confirm that. I should
Yeah.
double check that. But regardless, at the end of the day, depending on what kind of work you do, and there's a lot of people that are gig workers, Uber, Lyft,
Yeah.
DoorDash, whatever, because a lot of people after the pandemic, people's employment changed. There's a lot of folks that are doing those type of jobs. And again, that kind of money is not guaranteed every month.
Yeah.
So, they have changed the standard. These corporations, they have made the requirements 3 or 4 times the rent. It wasn't like that before they started buying up all these properties, so
Yeah.
something's got to be done.
Yeah, that's a very sad situation. It's intentional too. Again,
It is.
these individuals at the top, they really don't care for
No.
the masses of the people, and I think
No.
that's something that most of us really have to come to understand. Like you mentioned, somebody say, "Well, just make more money or do better."
Yeah.
This idea
Do
that
better.
you can, this
Like
idea
what?
that you can pull yourself up by your bootstrap, that's a falsity. I mean, of course, you have to put in the work.
Exactly.
We live in a society where there are things that are controlled beyond what we have the ability of controlling ourselves if we're not working
Exactly.
for ourselves, if we're not doing X, Y, and Z. So situations occur, and in my opinion, they force these type of conditions to happen, and then they blame
Exactly.
the individual solely for
Right.
not being able to meet the demands of capitalism, etc. And that's
So
that's
my
BS.
That's BS. My biggest concern is, like, for someone like me, self-employed, my biggest fear is an illness. One illness. And I know people who had an illness. And when you can't work
Yeah.
and out of the blue now you're homeless because you got an illness. I mean, it happens all the time. So something's got to be done.
Yeah, definitely. That's like I said, this idea that capitalism in and of itself is something that individuals, it all falls on the individual to be able to make it happen. That's really, like I said, that's BS. When you see these
Yeah.
corporations getting basically building businesses and things of that nature, facilities in certain cities on the taxpayers' dollars, meaning that they're
Yeah.
not putting anything up front. They're able to build. They are, if it fails, they lose nothing. If it
Hmm.
succeeds, they gain profits. And
Everything. Hmm.
again, the taxpayers who actually paid for them to be able to build in those cities, they get nothing from it. A few thousand jobs that they may create, but it doesn't pan out to what these individuals end up profiting off of, and the actual cost of from the taxpayers to that to help them build that company, basically. So I see that as very disturbing. And a lot of people, again, they like to say that, all right, just you supposed to pull yourself up. No, yeah, you definitely have your part in it, but
Of course.
you can't say that the society has no part in the conditions that are created for the people that
Right.
is governing. That's crazy.